Friday night brings us one of the better matchups of the bowl season. Oklahoma takes on Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. A&M is currently a 3-point favorite on BETDAQ, 73.5 the total in this game. Now, these two teams played for years and years in the Big 12. This, of course, Texas A&M's first year in the SEC. Oklahoma coach Bob Stoops has had great success against the Aggies, 11-2 in his career, including winning 8 out of the last 9. But this is a different Texas A&M team. This is the first time A&M has won 10 games since 1998. Not coincidentally, it's Kevin Sumlin's first year as head coach. Sumlin has done a great job. He's brought with him that Mike Leach offense. Really started with Hal Mumme at Kentucky. Leach was one of his assistants and is now spreading through college football. Dana Holgorsen in West Virginia runs something very similar. Holgorsen, of course, a former offensive coordinator at Houston, where Sumlin was the head coach. You see how this all ties together. Cliff Kingsbury, A&M's offensive coordinator, a former Mike Leach quarterback. So this offensive system is now used by Houston, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Texas A&M, Washington State, where Mike Leach is now coaching, among other teams, slowly spreading through college football because it works. The A&M offense this year, 44.8 points per game. That's fourth in the country. 552 yards per game. That's third in the country. And Johnny Manziel, the trigger man, became the first player in NCAA history to win the Heisman Trophy as a freshman. Now, Manziel deserved it. He's an exciting player, fun to watch, rushed for over 1,100 yards, 1,181 to be exact, passed for over 3,400 yards. But the fact of the matter is, whatever quarterback plays in this offense is going to put up big-time numbers. You look at what the quarterback in this offense was doing the last few years for Kevin Sumlin when he was at Houston. That quarterback was Case Keenum. He set all kinds of NCAA records. So take nothing away from Johnny Manziel. No doubt he is a great player and might win another Heisman Trophy before his career is over. But the offensive system that Manziel's in has a lot to do with his success and the success of Texas A&M. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this offense is tough to stop. And really, to stop this offense, the only two times they've been stopped or slowed down this year has been in their two losses to Florida and LSU. And the same thing happened in both those games. Those teams were able to stop Johnny Manziel from running the ball and turned him into a pocket passer, turned A&M into a dink and dunk type offense. Really, Manziel's running is the key to the A&M offense. It's sort of the engine of this offense. He's rushed for 100 yards or more 7 times this season, and they're 7-0 when he does. And really, many of the games they won when he didn't rush for 100 yards, it was because they were playing lesser competition, and he just didn't have to rush for 100 yards. So if Oklahoma can stop Johnny Manziel from running the football, they have an excellent chance to win this game. However, the Sooners' rush defense just happens to be their primary weakness. Oklahoma was bad this year against the run, 79th in the country. They gave up 181 rush yards per game in a conference, the Big 12, full of a bunch of pass-first teams. We just talked about Kansas State, who played last night, lost to Oregon, of course. Kansas State was a team, statistically, they were good against the run but bad against the pass, and you wonder how much does that have to do with the fact that so many teams they play in the Big 12 just pass and pass and pass, teams like Baylor and West Virginia and who else? Oklahoma State. I mean, the Big 12 is full of those type of teams. So when you see that Oklahoma in that conference gave up 181 rush yards per game, that has to concern you. I'm not sure they're going to be able to stop Johnny Manziel from doing his thing, and every time Manziel's been able to do his thing this year, Texas A&M has come out on top. Now, Oklahoma has a pretty good offense himself. Landry Jones, their quarterback, senior quarterback, of course, averages 332 pass yards per game this year. That was 5th in the country. Jones is very experienced, but he's been spotty. He's been inconsistent throughout his career. You know, I expected Oklahoma to be a lot better this year than they actually were. 10-2 is their record, but you look a little closer, they really did not play well the last couple of months of the season. 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games. And the only 2 covers in their last 6 games, a half-point cover against TCU in their final game of the year. They were 6.5-point favorites and won by 7 against a TCU team that's very limited offensively. And their other cover in the last 6 games, a 15-point win against Iowa State. They were 13.5-point favorites. Iowa State, not a great team, lost to Tulsa in a bowl game. So, you know, Oklahoma's sort of stumbling down the stretch. I do lean towards A&M in this game, and you know, there's a lot of things pushing you towards Oklahoma in this game, I feel like. We know that Heisman Trophy winners traditionally have not had much success in bowl games over the last few years. You know, there's a lot of distractions, but it's been a month since A&M's played, and Johnny Manziel's gone through a lot of things, not to mention lost his offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, as we said, took the head coaching job at Texas Tech. Oklahoma knows A&M. They've had a lot of success, like we mentioned. They've won 8 out of the last 9. But this is a new A&M team, and I just think they're better than the Sooners. Now, I do expect Oklahoma to have a lot of success on offense in this game. Texas A&M, even though they're not bad on defense, they can get after the passer. Demontre Moore, if you haven't seen him play, you're going to see him play on Sundays. 12.5 sacks this season. Priority 1 for Oklahoma will be keeping him off of Landry Jones. But A&M is not very good in the secondary, 83rd in the country in pass defense, so expect Landry Jones to have plenty of success through the air looking for Kenny Stills, who's Oklahoma's best wide receiver. So I lean towards over 73.5 in this game. I know 73.5 is a big total, especially for a bowl game where sometimes offenses sort of sputter early when they're looking for their rhythm. But I do like the over in this game. And as I said, I think A&M is just a better team here. I lean towards A&M -3.